February 2nd, Galactic Earth Council, and this is the Chapter 11. We're diving deep into the ancient chapter, transmitted encoded messages from the High Spiritual Council. We did our prayer and breathing, and we welcome everybody here today. And so we've gotten to, in the first reading of chapter 11, we made our way through to understand that the earth was developed by beings of high intelligence, those who may not even have an embodiment, the prima ultras and the high spiritual councils, all the many galaxies. And so we want to take a moment and just imagine the earth in its development billions of years ago. We were incorporated in the development of the Sheshata. So let's say the word Sheshata. Sheshata. Yeah? We were incorporated into that. And so specific biological um, emanations, plants, animals, the ecosphere, and they called it the fiery greening. So we're still at the place of the fiery greening, and we're coming into a place where the signature form of Earth, which is our human bodies, was determined, the first signature forms. So what I decided to do is I'm going to, let's see, I wanted to share my screen. And so let me bring this up, and we're going to start right here. So let me share the screen, and we're going to leave it up to what we have here. Somebody wrote something. Okay, so the person who has an old desktop that doesn't have a camera or microphone, so you can't talk on the call. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting us know. That's very, very kind of you. I appreciate it. So we're going to now share screen so that we can read along together. Okay? Let me just adjust so I can see. So we're starting out with your solar grouping is one of many unified galactic intelligences that are integrated within your Sheshata. Let me start over on that one. Your solar grouping is one of many unified galactic intelligences that are integrated within your Sheshata. And they recognize that the plants and the planets are all intelligences. So when they mention about these solar grouping, we're talking about planetary energies. We of the High Spiritual Council have been given permission to offer this information to you as the reintegration of the Earthkin with your solar and Sheshata Milky Way has begun. Earth is reawakening to its galactic origins once again. Each human being incarnated upon your Earth as a galactic intelligence embodied in a biological unit you call a physical body. Your physical human bodies are the manifestation of Earth's original signature galactic life forms. There are exceptions in certain individual galactic intelligences that reside here upon your planet Earth, having a mixture of their original galactic life form and the Earth's original signature galactic life formation. This knowledge is reflected in the chronicles of your Earth from the past unto the present time and space. For billions of your Earth years, galactic intelligences have incarnated into biological Earth forms, enabling them to live out their social expression, purpose, and function in new areas of your time and space, such as your Earth. Incarnation into your planet's signature galactic life form was often beneficial for some galactic species whose biological makeup was not compatible to your Earth's atmosphere, temperature, and other climatic differentials. Embodying the biological unit of Earth offered a sustainable existence for their needs. Know that the earliest Earth signature incarnations took place billions of your years ago, after your planet's first conception and manifestation. During the time and space of Earth's primal stages of development, all cosmic and galactic intelligences were working in unison on behalf of the Radiant One in the formulation of your Sheshata Milky Way. Galactic intelligences were specifically chosen to embody the newly formed earthen biological units according to their innate qualities and functions in the cosmos. 12 original biological units, humanoid in shape and form, were chosen and created using entrainment of elemental particles with specific genetic variations, frequencies, and electromagnetic polarizations. The radiant essence of each individual galactic intelligence was then placed within the biological units with the purpose of stabilizing the formation. Each newly formed Earth being incarnated into a form with a quality and function unique to its purpose. All original 12 galactic signature galactic life form, or the original 12 as they were called, were sexually androgynous in nature. This original 12 became your prima Earthkin ancestors. The original 12 Earthkin were galactic intelligence who came from distant star systems, each carrying the seeds of profound awareness and evolutionary purpose. The lifespan for each of the original Earth beings ranged in the thousands of your Earth years, enabling the development of the species to take hold as Earth's greening environment was being developed. The original 12, or prima Earth beings, lived and functioned alongside all the other galactic intelligences who were on Earth. Their evolutionary progress and intellectual purpose was, of course, of great importance. They did not live a primitive existence among the greening environment of your planet. The primary focus during the greening of Earth's environment was developing the multicellular organisms and strengthening the intricate symbiosis of the interdimensional, integrative biological field of existence. This allowed for a unified hologramic infusionary system, a unified ecological system, as you would call it, to be developed from differential fields and quantum subparticles to full organism evolvement. All that is manifested within your dimensional field is integrated dynamically in alignment with that which exists externally and internally to itself, the created field of eternal existence. Before having given placement within the greening environment, or the third dimension, which is no more, the original 12 Earthkin lived in the vibratory receptacles and functioned in the infrastructural stabilizing systems, as did all galactic intelligence who were present at that time. So I'm going to stop there for just a moment, and we're going to stop sharing, and we're going to open the field. We can go into galactic gallery mode, and if you want to speak, you can just open your audio and share if you'd like. So if anybody has any questions, and for you, Crystal, imagine that the Earth's formulation came into presence, but as they made the alignment of the Earth's development, there were hollowed out multidimensional places of beingness, some to stabilize the Earth's magnetic field, and others for them to live. We know it as Shambhala, the Gobi Deserts, all these places that are kind of next to our dimensional field, but in a different realm. So that's what they mean by septical. Okay, so anybody want to share? All right, should we keep going? All right, here we go. So, the prima Earth beings, or original Earth beings, adjusted to their earthly galactic intelligence and embodiment, maturing fully empowered as cosmogenic, consciously awakened beings. Their lives would develop and evolve according to the qualities and functions of their existence by their innate powers and intelligence through the thousands of Earth years of existence. And I want to say here that I'm doing a lot of work with all of those who have their galactic origins, and it's proving itself what they're speaking of here. Um, in the galactic origin session, you're taken back to the very first time you came to Earth, and 100% each one that I've worked with has discovered on their own, through their own cognitive information that comes through their primal awareness, that they are of a galactic nature. And then when we take them back from the time of Earth to where they came from, it even gets more cosmic. And I know that each one of you who are here tonight, a few of you have not had the galactic origin session, but you understand that there is something within you that is more than just human. So these first signature forms of Earth, this first, they gave a tone, they kept the tone of Earth in a very high resonant field. So keep that in mind as we're going along. So the prima Earth beings, very first ones, and the galactic intelligences established presidency over the Earth in the continuance of the great plan to develop, evolve, and give placement to your solar system within your Sheshita. We give you this information so you'll understand that the history of the formation of your humanoid embodiment on Earth is much more than your concept of humans existing in the primitive states. There is much exaltation in the seeds of your human existence. We honor this within your beingness. The development of septicals, living and working spaces created interdimensionally adjacent to Earth's dimensional field of existence, and the vibrational Earth structuring, vibrationally attuned structures to stabilize and enhance Earth's and other planetary systems' unified field of existence. These took place during the time when your Earth was one continent, this being 1,000 million of your Earth years in your mathematical standing. The universal movement of your galaxy in time and space, through billions of sectors of time and space, imbued with sourcial intelligence, became the means that slowly initiated change within the Earth's existence. This is important. The universal movement of your galaxy in time and space, through billions of sectors of time and space, imbued with sourcial intelligence, became the means that slowly initiated change within the Earth's existence. The galactic intelligences and prima, um, and prima Earth intelligences who came or incarnated in the early beginnings of your Earth, many of which remain to this day, experienced great changes in the landscape and the formation of your planet. All their experiences are recorded in the geological framework and cellulose matter of your arbors or trees. It is the origin where your adage trees of life comes from. The essence of galactic consciousness is written within the photonic fire essence of your geological landscape and the minerals and fossils. Divine consciousness reconciles, manifesting shape and form interdimensionally. It is the divine consciousness that formulates the infrastructural foundations of all forms in your Earth's dimensional field. Your Earth was and is a galactic planet. You're part of your Sheshata, Milky Way, its galaxies and solar systems. This then brings your Sheshata to a part of an even greater cosmic system of Sheshatas. There's been times in the history of your Earth when there has been much upheaval and extreme climate change, such as you are experiencing in your world today. During the times in the past, some of the original vibrational septicles, and stabilizing systems were destroyed, causing groupings of beings who were upon your planet to have to live in the biosphere or the environment that was available until reconstruction could take place. This began the period we called differential period, your Earth's harmonic register, divine quality and function, unified in purpose with the divine quality and function of your solar system and Sheshata. Within your solar system had been stabilized and would not change, no matter what transformations are set upon it by the supreme forces or nature, as they call it. So I'm going to repeat that. The Earth's harmonic register, which is the divine quality and function, unified in purpose with the divine quality and function of your solar system, Sheshata, or Milky Way. So, this unified in purpose with the divine within your solar system had been stabilized and would not change, no matter what transformations are set upon it by the supreme forces or nature forces, as you call them. I think I'm going to stop there for a moment and let's see if anybody has anything to say.
What I was going to say, Celestine, is you're talking about, if I understand this correctly, that during these periods of development uh, on Earth, life on Earth, that there were climatic disasters, from disasters and upheavals, which caused the inhabitants of the planet to be taken away, perhaps, until what you call the reconstruction period was completed and then put back again. So, in other words, they're protected, taken off the planet,
Hmm.
and then reintroduced. My understanding that.
That is correct. Yes. So imagine that the whole of the original continent was just one. And so we often think that we are, you know, having a time with the weather that's happening right now. We're not even close to some of the great upheavals that happened. And I think that's why no one lived in the greening area because it was still in its fiery development. But yes, you're absolutely correct. There was a destructive periods, and you could see in the Grand Canyon or just looking at the history of the world. Some of the geologists go back billions of years. They read the story.
So we were actually, or the original inhabitants of Earth were rescued, almost as though, as you say, with the single continent idea. I mean, our biblical narratives, for example, talk, and not just the Bible, but other narratives and traditions have the tradition of us being a continent before there was a flooding, let's say, and
Yeah.
then a repopulation.
So the flooding, from what I understand, took place around 10,500 years ago. That was when the final separation. And now we're coming back from that. And what they had to do was separate those of the reverse consciousness, which we're going to get into, I think, at the end of this reading. There was a separation so that the human genome could actually develop. So the whole project here is the development of the Earth. They brought the 12 first original androgynous humans. They were formulated by beings coming from Lyra, Andromeda, and if you want to read the first part before what we have today, you can just read up to that and it'll tell you how they came here. And the 12, they formulated the 12. It was like the original Council of 12. They gave their wisdom and their knowledge for Earth. And so what we saw is that we're going to move into a statement, a time period of destruction where the Earth moves into a new sector of time and space. And you're going to understand that we're back in billions of years. We're not in, 10,500 years ago. So they're taking you back from conception all the way to present time. So that's what this whole chapter 11 is about. And I what I love is to recognize that, as he said, that it wasn't about being primitive, because the the intelligence level was extraordinarily high. They still had their ability to move from one galaxy to another. They're living interdimensionally, but yet they're focused on Earth. So the building of the civilizations that came to Earth during the fiery greening is much different than what we have today. The Earth is in a different geological standing, and so the way it is. So we're just looking at the original 12. They're still here. Some of them are still here. You know, they mentioned that they're still with us. Some people call them, I think, the nine, the Watchers. I think they've been referred to as the Watchers. But shall we read on? Anybody else have anything they want to say? Yes, Crystal, please unmute.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I just don't I haven't read your book. It's really interesting. I'm really interested. But I just have a question about what was it that you were talking about, the stabilization fields, and I was just curious what caused the destabilization that resulted in those earth changes.
So let's start at the beginning. The conception of Earth, it was literally brought into form with the power of conception. And so if you think of your own life and you're imagining your home, it's in the ether fields, it's in the astral plane, right? And then eventually things start happening, and all of a sudden you have this beautiful house. I was totally deconstructed from my other house to come to this one. It was a process, and there was a lot of chaos and things. So imagine a whole solar system coming in like that. So you have a planetary energy field that's a whole solar system, and then you have Earth. But it's being held by a consciousness that's so vast that it takes up huge areas of time and space, right? And in this taking up uh, time and space, we have the coming together, the solidifying of this beautiful Earth. And so the beings who are helping us to bring it together have done this before, obviously, or they wouldn't be called upon to help bring it together. We're not in the place of looking at the destruction and the flood. We're like billions of years at the beginning. So we're going to slowly move through. So what we're told is that And I saw this when I was 15 years old. They showed me this. As the solidification of the earth came in, the crystalline form began to solidify. It was a fiery coming in. It came in through the fire element. And so those who had the consciousness created a dimensional field, pockets of energy around the earth that they could live in, and they could stabilize the earth. So it's not a matter of that it was just primal energy being brought together to stabilize. And what I have found is being raised in England as Ian is that you see these Stonehenge, the different cranes. Are you in England? Are you in England right now, Crystal? No. Okay, so we see the standing stones, and also being Native American, they talk a lot about the circles and things like this. Vortexes, ley lines. That is my passion, and I believe that these were places that were stabilizing, that was energizing. At 15, I saw one continent and along the 15.5 parallel. Now, if you recognize this is the place where all the wars are fought, most of the wars on the planet, because the South and the North are coming together. So that point at the 15.5, it's going positive, negative. It's not just positive and it's not just negative, right? So I hope that answers your question. There'll be more to come. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to unpin, remove the pin. Okay. All right, so carrying on, let's go ahead and keep going. Um, See if I can remember where I was. There we go. Okay, here we go. So, additional interdimensional galactic life forms who are exploring and looking for new places and resources began to appear on Earth during the time of the differential period. And so, remember, this is a time when things were moving and everything needed to be stabilized, and continues to this present day. All galactic life forms who come to your planet were in connection to the Prima Ultra Intelligence and the High Spiritual Council. The Prima Ultra Intelligence is that which is like the right hand of creation. It's the first consciousness that's come out. So the High Spiritual Council, we should go back and read for you, Crystal, and a few new people, who they are. But imagine the vastness beyond galaxies, and then some of them can come into form. Okay. So the newly arrived galactic intelligence were supported in accomplishing their needs, including acquiring planetary substance, resources, stations of existences for certain periods of time and space, teleportation needs, and other necessary accommodations. During this time and space, there was no biological fusion of Earth's prima intelligences and other galactic intelligent embodiment. There's no genetic experimentation, there was no hybrids or any of this. There was no genetic engineering of life forms through the genetically combined interstellar species, or races as you call them. This took place much later in Earth's history during the time and space of the planetary destruction period. It is during the time and space of the planetary destruction period that the Galactic Star Federation was formed by the Prima Ultras to monitor and assist in all planets in your Seshata in stabilizing, harmonizing, and directing the rebuilding of vibrational receptacles and stabilizing systems. The Galactic Star Federation monitored the arrival and departure of all galactic intelligences from all parts of the cosmic creation. They also mediated the interconnected relationships between different galactic intelligence upon your Earth, which is within your solar system, in accordance with the social expression of the Radiant One. Earth continues to be under the beneficial monitoring of the Galactic Star Federation as directed by the Prima Ultras and the High Spiritual Council. All Earth galactic intelligence working in the service of Earth receive their directives from the Sorcio Radiant One through the Prima Ultra and the High Spiritual Council. Earth, moving within your solar system, passed through the planetary destructive period in which your singular continent became six large continents with several smaller landmasses. Know that your entire solar system went through this phase of existence as the vib- vibrational frequencies, qualities, and functions of the sector of time and space that your Sheshata was in resonated structural change and harmonization. So, these sectors of time and space, which are vast swaths of areas within the Creator, these sectors of time and space have intelligence, and they each have a different one. So what they're saying here is that during the destructive period, the first one, that the whole of the Milky Way went through a sector of time and space that was all about structural change and deharmonization. So during the planetary destructive period, your solar system's planetary orbital stations were magnetically and electrically reversed. They were magnetically and electrically reversed, setting off their orbital rotational fields in multiple directions. This took place over 400 million of your Earth years in the past. Astro, Thomas, let's see, atmospheric changes and the separation of your continents were a part of the results of your Earth's moving through its sector of time and space, whose cosmic beingness resonated in opposite vibrational fields than the previous sector your Sheshata had traversed. Within your solar system, planets collided. Some were completely broken apart because what you call the and became what you call the astrobelt. The formulation of the Earth's resonant field was decisively changed, as it was structural emanations, continents, oceans, atmosphere, and geographical and biological formations. We of the High Spiritual Council and the Prima Ultra Intelligence brought forth assistance from the galaxies beyond your Sheshata's sector of time and space to assist in the rescue and rebuilding process. The effects of the sector's reversal and vibrational frequencies cause a reversal of the galactic intelligence of certain galactic intelligence that have been living within your Sheshata. It would take thousands of years to reestablish harmonic intonations and stabilize those galactic intelligence that were negatively affected consciously at the time and space. Not all galactic intelligence were able to be stabilized and harmonically intoned. Those that remained in reversed consciousness are held with honor and high regard through our illuminated state of unified, unconditional unified love. I want to stop for just a moment here and open the field if anyone wants to share. Okay, go ahead, Crystal.
Okay, so I just wanted to speak to that because I have been seeing and experiencing those energies, both sides. So both, and I've been told the same thing, that it is all from the source of love, so that they exist in a balancing. It's really complicated to try to understand, but it seems like it's created as in balancing forces, so that the two can create friction, which creates existence or polarity. I'm not really sure, but I wondered what you were told or what you see about the polarity and how it affects all beings, because I know that I feel that it's always for the highest good.
Hmm. You're very beautiful. I love you. So the polarity, as you speak of, having polarity, is a part of the universal principle. Um, in relationship to what they're describing right now, they're speaking of imagine that you, at the time, when we take you to your divinity, you automatically go into a state of unified consciousness. I've yet to meet anybody. Would you agree? And so, in that unified state, uh, if you were placed in a vibrational containment or a frequency that is too low, it will begin to reverberate and have an effect upon you. So understand that if you took frequencies and made them dimensional layers of existence, and then you have some that are very, very low, and imagine that you come into that sector or the planet that you're on or within moves into a sector of time and space that's very low, and it affects your consciousness, and your consciousness polarly reverses. So there's trying to give you an understanding that 80-90% of the cosmos is in unified field. They constantly would say, think of a sandy white beach and one black or two black dots, that would represent the reverse consciousness. So you understand that some could be healed, and we're just talking about this millions of years ago. Some of them could be healed and some not. And they're talking about the whole of the Milky Way because they see it as one whole piece. So we are the children of the Milky Way. We traveled from wherever, whatever dimension, and incarnated here at this time. So, to answer the question of the other polarities, in order to make one thing, you have the polarities that exist: love, hate, up and down, the seven directions, opposites, right? Stillness, movement. But there's the center core, which, if you go into the 0 point, what happens? You're in a place of harmony and balance. So so that doesn't even affect you because you are in a state of oneness, right? You found the center. And so that's what I could say about that. Did that answer your question? Okay, good. Anyone else? Oh, let's see. Dana's got something, I think. Let's see. What does she say? I think my video is sharp. Oh,
That's me.
that's you? No. I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you to start your video again.
Okay. Okay. I'm back in the room. Thanks,
Yay. You
Celestine.
want to say, oh, just for that, you have to say something. We're going to have each person say something. So just got to know you're all awake. Okay. Go ahead,
Okay.
Ian.
I was going to say what was important in that segment that you just read and we just covered was that the reversed ones are held in high regard. So, if I'm understanding this correctly, when there's this reversed consciousness, it doesn't mean there's a falling away at all of these beings, that they are still held in high regard. And I think that's basically as well what the conversations Crystal and I have had. Let's say those that we would term a reversed one, it's sometimes necessary for the balance to bring them back in, keep them in the.
Mm. Absolutely. I mean, I love that they're not fallen angels, whatever. It's really a frequency thing. And sometimes they're just, there's no way to bring them back. And that's what we're dealing with right now is a lot of galactic consciousness incarnated into human form that's being affected by reverse consciousness. It just is. But they're giving us tools through frequencies. Frequency is the key for us. And I think that's a part of the stabilizing factor. You know, going to a PowerPoint and putting the crystals in that raise the frequency, or toning sounds, or keeping sounds around you, tones. I put out the 10 sacred, I don't know if you saw that, Ian, the 10 sacred frequencies. And I'll send it out to everyone with the replay here. Okay. Anything else you want to say there?
No, I'm good with that. Thank you.
Fantastic. Let's see, Heidi. I'm so glad you got your video on there, my love. Can you speak at all? Can you use your phone?
Yeah, I can speak. I just agree.
Oh,
I'm following along. Fine. You answered my questions. Uh, one question I do have, I don't know if this is the time to ask it, but so if we really talk about, the yin and the yang, and it's really the shadow. You really can't have the light without the shadow. And
mm,
so at this time, we're talking about all this ascension. So we're going into a higher and higher light. And the way we talk about Christ consciousness, that's all love and light. So I don't really see the shadow there. So I'm not sure how that plays into it. And the only answer I can come up with is that you come to 0 point of stillness within yourself. So, you're in just, I don't know. That's as far as I can get with the thought on that one.
beautiful. The 0 point.
Mhm.
You come into a state of unified consciousness. That's right. And so it's all about frequency. So you raised yourself up to a certain level of frequency, right? And let's see, Lynn Ann, can you bring her back as a speaker? I'm just,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's see, I'm
Oh,
looking at somebody else. Okay, if I can do it, but I
who,
just
me?
exit out of. There you go. Thank you, love. Um, yeah. So if you've raised your frequency to the point that you become the polarity energies do not exist after a certain level. And if you've ever, I went through the process of having the near death, but it's very different than raising your frequency. I mean, so if it's there, if when I enter the Godhead, there is no polarity anywhere. You know what I mean? So
Right.
when I'm speaking, when I'm doing healing work, and I'm working with people in their galactic consciousness, and they're in a state of divinity, even when I take them to the place when they first landed on Earth, and they're a galactic consciousness. They go, "Oh, we talk telepathically. We're just in this unified state." Every single one. There's no polarity. There's no, I have to deal with my shadow and go polish my mirrors. I think part of what's happened in our geno is that some of these embodiments were tampered with, and the genetics of the reversed ones was incorporated into our genetic genome. And so it's there. It's like, and DNA is only a receptor, so you can better believe it moves you to a place where you have to deal with it. And so we have to learn how
Which
to,
really defines drama. Which really defines drama, right? I mean,
well,
when we're
human,
looking at all those,
yeah, exactly,
maybe,
humans in
I
their
don't know if
drama.
you can,
Yeah. But,
yeah. It's
if,
all drama when we're in the light and the dark.
yeah, you could say that, light, dark, up, down. Now you're in polar opposites, but then you come to the center. You give him
Right.
love. Love is
And then it
144,000 beats per second. And what happens in love? I'm you and you are me. We're all together, shining like a little bright star. Okay. Thank you, Heidi. Yeah, that was really
thank
good.
you.
So, Carlene, let's
Yes.
hear from our beautiful Colleen.
Oh, thank you. I've been thinking along the same lines of all the previous speakers. And what caught my attention was the reversed ones are being held in high regard. And then as you're talking about the 0 point being all about frequency, I've been listening to your 10 sacred frequencies every day, at least once or twice.
Wow.
And it's really making a difference in my relationships with people that I found irritating.
Mm.
I find myself being able to stand in the center and at the 0 point and see them not as someone who's acting out,
Mm-hmm.
but
But
who
you
are
know,
really valuable
mm-hmm.
for raising my consciousness,
Wow.
or forcing me to seek help to
Mm-hmm.
stay in that 0 point more often.
It's
Yes.
powerful. It's
Mm.
beautiful. I notice for myself, it's like it pulls me up, and next thing I know, I'm in this state of open awareness, and I can hold it for a long time. Each time, as more you do it, the longer you can hold that
Yes.
state.
Yes.
So,
So
thank you.
thank you.
But I'm just grateful. There's more to come. I want to do a whole gathering of speakers on sound and bioacoustics
Yes.
as a
Thank you.
healing. So thank you for bringing that.
Very powerful.
Okay, who else do we have? Dana, I don't know. Can you put something in the chat? Just say hello. Anything. We don't want to know you're there. And let's see if she put something in there. And Tamala, would you share with us? What would you like to share with all of us?
I'm working to grasp what you're reading. um, like from your last reading. I don't know
I
if that's
know.
possible, but
Yeah, you
I,
can. I know you're comparative, so it's like one of those things where you don't comparative, but you just take it in.
yeah, that's why I'm trying to
Yeah.
piece together what you're reading.
Yeah. So what's your takeaway right now, so we can see what we can do?
I don't see it here, but you mentioned something about
Thank you, Dana.
build when you said a word, it reminded I was wondering if that was referring to pyramids. You said something was destroyed and the beings had to leave because what was created, what was here for them, or what they
Yeah.
created,
To the,
destroyed.
that's right. So imagine millions of years ago. We're not talking about, Neanderthal times and things like that, but let's go back further and let's imagine that you're coming in from the Pleiades
Mhm.
and you've landed, and maybe you're a part of the team that's bringing the cellular little microbes and setting up the fungi and setting up the biosphere, and all of a sudden the frequencies shift and you're caught in that, and things and the um, continents start breaking apart. Things happen on those levels, and so the rescue did have to happen. You see, the rescue did have to happen, and what they found was if the uh, unified consciousness, the being, the galactic intelligence, was in a field that was too low, then their mental consciousness might reverse. Not everybody, but it's a possibility. Think of the lower natures of slums and areas where such a low vibration. Eventually, some people's consciousness turn, and it's all about me, my, I want to give, this is mine, and they're reverse conscious. But others, you could take them out of there, feed them, make them feel better. I did this for 15 years. I got 25 people out of poverty, And the shift I saw, and I still see the shift in people's consciousness. Some are haunted by trauma. Some are haunted. Their lives are in this state of, and so it's hard to become open and unified in love. You know, but you can take them. So what they're describing is a very, very conceptual part of Earth. This is pre-Egypt. This is pre-Atlantis, just to give you a context. Okay, so we're in the early part, and just let you know. So just think. I mean, I often put myself in the visual part. I think I was there during the time of all of a sudden the continents breaking apart. Do you think that was fun?
No, I would leave too.
Yeah, and so the destructive, and so they had to keep a oneness, open heart, and those who were not able to be helped remained, and we're going to get into that. So that's what we're looking at in having to deal with the whispering, the voice that can't come into physical form because this is the signature form, but can have an influence upon our consciousness. Okay, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. So we're going to, let's see. Can you pin me? Oh, Lynn Ann. We want to hear from Lynn Ann. Then we'll do Dana.
Oh,
Thank you, Mommy.
I noticed that you keep reflecting to million of years ago. Okay, I get that. And that's the shoulders that we stand on. I get that. And that's the particles that have memory with what we're doing. And it reminds me that we need to have compassion and forgiveness and acceptance for all the pieces and parts and personalities trying to be one. I know last time we talked about that really catapulted me was that we're all individuals making up the whole of the earth. And
Yes.
so our part and our vibration and our center can have a sphere around us and whoever we touch. And that's what we're here on earth to bring at this time. We're
You are. Oh, wow.
and so I know you've mentioned it like 3 times. This is long ago. And it reminds me, wait, long ago doesn't have to do with now,
There is no time and space.
but it
It's like red.
does. And it does.
It
It
does.
reminds me that this is from where we came
Yeah.
and the pureness of what we were developing and the 12 prima ultras. Oh, the 12 prima ultras wanted, only the best. And so now we, embodied as humanoids here,
Mm-hmm.
have to remember, oh yes, we have a very small part in this life to make that difference. And we have to remember that we do make
Make
a difference
different right here and right now.
right here, right now.
And I'm saying that to keep the linear movement of the paper, but know that there is no past, present, or future. There's only present. But
I know that time and sector space, I really got it last time. Time and sector of your time. I'm like, oh, it's not just now, but it's like this huge time inspector moving through,
Earth is
moving through
moving
the
through.
galaxy,
Yeah.
time and space. And each one of us have a energetic field to make a difference.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And so we did a Tanador. We just put out a transmission if you want to learn further. But he just gave us the understanding that each of you have your own world. There's not just one Earth. There are 7 million Earths plus, and they overlay on top of each other. And those that are in what do they call it? Uh, those that are akin to each other, they overlay. So we have a choice. So you could just see that this fever of the pandemic is bringing that information into your sphere of your existence and amping it up to the point that you are now overlaid with the others. And so if you keep your area clean and clear without fear, then you stay out of that. You keep your, what I say, stay in your lane. Just keep your world going, and you'll be surprised that you'll have the most fabulous Earth experience while everyone else is, driving off the cliff. There's a choice, you know. So thank you, Lynn Ann, for bringing that forward, and we're going to put that one in the newsletter when we do the replay and the
Uh,
tones. Just
it's
put those.
interesting. We're reading this, and then I transcribe the Tanador, and I embody that, and I'm embodying the chapter 11, and I reflect and reflect in my moments of my life. I'm like, oh, we're part of
Yes.
the whole, and the whole of the what we're doing.
That's right. All of it is pertinent for now, this history that we've never really heard too much about. And I want to listen to what Dana says. The energy is great right now. It has a spiritual flavor that is bringing me into my higher self, probably. I think you got it, Dana. And we're getting more gamma. We are actually mutating. The fabric of our being is being bombarded with more gamma and more photonics. So you have the gamma rays and you have the photon rays, photon energies rather. So energy and light, it's just amazing. And yes, that is one of the things. We're all here for the vibrational frequency of upliftment and evolutionary consciousness. And I'm so excited that everybody's here. So we shall carry on. And so the polarization of your planet occurred. There you go, Crystal. And has been a part of its existence continuing to this time and space. So we have this reverse consciousness thing happening because we've gone into a sector. So the whole Sheshata, the whole Milky Way, moves from one sector to another, and each sector has a consciousness. So as it moved into this other one that's of a destructive type nature, and the planet has held on, has been affected by that polarization ever since. Some of the original 12 Earth prima intelligence were affected by the reverse magnetic electric field that emanated throughout Earth during the planetary destructive period. Their qualities and functions that had been altered, affecting destructive tendencies towards all life. The Galactic Star Federation worked continuously and effortlessly in assisting, effectively in assisting the galactic intelligence in need by transporting them to sectors of time and space with high enough vibratory frequencies to reverse the destructive effects that had affected their beingness. Know that the Prima Ultras and the High Spiritual Council have manifested and developed Matonic centers. Let's say that word, Matonic. So you would call medical assistance centers. I had the honor to be able to go to one, and this is for the purpose of assisting any galactic intelligence in need of rebalancing existence, sustaining assistance, or harmonizing. And I was taken in a Vimana, which is those of the Indian nature, in a beautiful by a beautiful illuminated being. And as I got closer, it was like being in a little seat in a little two-seater, and but it was big enough that you felt substantial moving through time and space. And as I got closer to this Metonic center, I just felt so overwhelmed. The light and the power, it's like entering the God space again. It was just that much love and light. So, this Metonic centers, as were placed in septicles and in planetary greening environments throughout all of creation, as impulsed by the Radiant One and remains active throughout the cosmos. That is something, if you ever ask, what would I do if they ask me, where would you like to go? You just may want to go visit a Metonic center. Not all galactic intelligence were able to be assisted. Many lost their embodiments. That means they couldn't hold on to form and phased out of this interdimensional quadrant, some of which would later return to our Earth and are here today seeking interrelationships with your current Earth kin for non beneficial purpose. Rather, they are enacting their reversed functioning and qualities. We are currently offering assistance through those awakened Earthkins with enough elevated consciousness to receive our transmissions or receive our assisted instructions on how to harmonize and make beneficial the reverse effects of the reversed ones. You see, it's not impossible. And we've been getting incredible information about sonic energy frequencies. So directly after the planetary destruction period, colonization of your planet was suspended, as much of the pre existing vibratory septicles and infrastructural stabilization systems had been destroyed. A stabilizing planet was created by the Prima Ultras and the Supreme Forces you know as your moon. It was used and still is used as an outer shell to assist in the restabilization of your planet. Many of the moon like structures in your solar system are planetary stabilizing moons. Their intent is to keep the orbits of your planetary system stabilized and enable planets in your solar system to be protected from asteroid bombardment. Vibratory septicles and infrastructural stabilization systems were built and placed in all planetary stabilizing moons by Galactic Star Federation and other galactic intelligence that came forth from different parts of the cosmos. All interactive manifestations were overseen by the High Spiritual Council and the Prima Ultras. After thousands of your years, your Sheshata Milky Way moved out of the sector of time and space, whose qualities and function was of a reverse nature to your Sheshata's original function and quality. Your Sheshata then moved into a sector of time and space, whose function and qualities brought forth the emanation of unified relations. Unified relations was a time of rebuilding and colonialization of your earth. Recolonize, um, I don't even know how to say it. Rebuilding and
Recolonialization.
recolonialization. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't say it. Recolonialization of your earth. It was a time in which many galactic intelligences came forth from all dimensions and settled not just in the vibrational septicles, but in the greening environment of your planet. During this time, the Prima Ultras and the High Spiritual Councils were petitioned by a grouping of galactic intelligence, some of the original Earthkin, to create a new form of earthly biological units or human bodies in which galactic intelligences could incarnate within the newly formed, and then it continues. So, this is where we will stop for today. And so let's just go into into Galaxy gallery mode, and we'll just open it up. And anybody who wishes to speak, it's an open, just to open. Oh, look at our little one. Yes, Crystal, and please tell us who is visiting us.
Oh, this is Coco. Coco.
Hi, Coco. Hi, honey.
He's like, who's
Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie. Yes, she's beautiful.
Yeah, she's a mama
Is it a
girl.
he or a she?
It's a she.
I felt it was a she. She is watching you, boy. She knows something's up here.
She just loves me to bed. She just follows me
She is in dreamland with you.
everywhere. Coco.
She's telling us all kind of things. Let me see. She's explaining something very important. She's explaining something really important right now. Oh, so what would you like to share, my dear?
I was just interested because you said that the Prima, was it, what,
Ultra, Prima Ultra.
yeah, okay, Prima Ultra beings, there was 12 of them. And I was
Oh,
curious.
I'm sorry. It would be the Prima Earth kin.
Oh, okay.
The first. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
I was curious, with the number 12, if you had a little bit maybe more to say about that number, and if you were, um, yeah, if you wanted to elaborate, like why was there 12?
I could ask them. What I got was that it was a grouping of 12 different intelligences from all around the cosmos that helped with the original envisioning. And because they were the ones that were working with the Prima Ultras in the envisioning of not only the Earth but the whole solar system within the Sheshata, that they were the ones who contributed their wisdom to the 12 different elements of the first original humanoids. So that's the only thing I could get. I feel like it's a vibrational frequency, and we could go deeper into that, surely. Yeah, we could all open up and get information about that. So if anybody has anything to say about that, please chime in. Heidi?
I'll say something about the 12. 12 is very significant to us humans. We have 12 months. We have 12 signs of the astrology that we use. We have, the system of 12 being used in time, such as the 12 hours and
Right.
times 2, 24. So it's almost become a constant human beings to move on the 12. And very often we use these 12 figures in law, etc. So 12 is an important number. I'm sure we're just resonating with what was the original intention of 12 beings, 12 intelligences that have, as you say, came together with the envisioning of the Earth.
Oh. We received the 12 emanations when I think the conception of the earth coming in from these different places, that was a part of the key. But yes, so I think it would be good to do a little meditation and then receive more. So thank you, Ian. And Heidi, what were you going to say, dear? Good
Well,
question.
first, just to tie into what Ian's saying, well, 12 is 3, and 3 is, the universal production or creation. So 369.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that's why it's very pertinent. But I actually had a really strong vision of this very thing, I think. And it was where there was 12 people in a cave in a circle with a lot of light. And the light was coming through the center. And then as the light comes from the heavens, it shines onto each person. There's 12 people
Oh.
sitting together.
Mm-hmm.
And the light's shining on each person. And then within each person, can you hear me? I
We
have
can hear
terrible
you clearly.
internet.
I'm getting the light and everything. I'm seeing the council room.
And
Yeah.
then with and I've been wanting to draw this and talk about this, and this is the first time I had this vision like 6 months ago. But and then okay, so the light's coming down, and the light is on each person, and as it comes down to the over the person, each person has colors of the chakra within them. They're all lighting up in different colors
Wow.
in circle. And then the bottom of your body starts to turn into the earth, turns to brown, and goes back into the earth. So we are the conduits between the earth and the heaven. And this was just, I'm getting chills right now. It's a very powerful, energetic circle.
Well, the question is, were you one of the council people? Because that's what it seemed
Yeah,
to
I
me.
was.
Of course, I wanted you to
Yeah,
say
I was.
that.
The
Let's be
ring
clear
that we
about
hung
what we're
up.
doing.
No, I know. Well, I didn't speak up earlier because it was my first time here and I didn't know how this rolled. But
Yes,
when you
ma'am.
read that first page, I just have to say this because I'm really blown away, actually. When you read the first couple pages, I already read all this before I got on because I wasn't sure what was happening. Know me when we're done. I'm like, I don't see form. I see energy of myself over the whole thing. Remember, over the pyramids, and I don't see form. I just have this huge energetic flow, and I've known
Yeah,
that all my life. Like I've got to work really big, but I haven't tuned that yet.
right. Yes.
So
So that form still exists. It hasn't stopped, but there are parts of you that are stepped down to the point where you can be embodied. How does that feel when I say that to you?
it's like it's like, all right, I'll come in the body.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us for this one little moment. Anybody else want to share? And thank you for that question. Yes, uh, at this point, my experience of the councils, there are many, and yet there is a massive one, the High Spiritual Council, and there are other people who speak about this, and they just call it by a different name. So I can only, be with where I am and my experiences. But if you could just imagine, more than once in my lifetime, I have experienced in real time. And had I not been able to hold the consciousness of vastness, it's vast, and I raise your hand if you've been there, to the very edges of creation and still be awake, And having that, you say, okay, what am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with that? Uh, that's the integration that we're in. That is the absolute integration. To understand what this information is about is it's an encoded imprint to have the conversations, to unlock the synapses so that you can become fully integrated galactic consciousness on this planet in your divine right. So I'm honored that each of you have been here today and that we are able to speak on this in such a high way. So let's continue our talk. Yes, my beautiful Carlene.
Um, I'm an educator, and I was thinking when you were talking about these 12 being um, intelligences, forms of intelligence, I was drawn to Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences theory. And traditionally in education, we've honored only two types of intelligence, numerical and verbal. And those were the intelligences that we always tested on tests. And then here in California, especially, I think we were on the forefront of moving education forward. And we had mentor teachers who could study things like multiple intelligences theory and then teach it to our teachers. And we were creating a framework for education that was outside of that box. But then I would say it's probably, for lack of a better word, the reversed ones that
Okay.
were threatened by that. And they pulled it away from us and made us go back into the box of standardized testing and all of that. And I have said all along that it's not gone.
Good.
It will come back.
Well, you
That
have a
level
key.
of consciousness. Yes?
Did they not come through with the artistic mind or the mind?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, because I was there. My one of my roommates, Enid, she was on the staff of
Okay.
having that for the state. They were
Mhm.
trying to
Mhm.
implement it for the state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good.
The art and dance and kinesthetic intelligences and
Are high level.
interpersonal
Yeah.
and intrapersonal and
Mhm.
all those different dimensions. Yeah.
Thank
And
you for saying that.
what's that?
Thank you for sharing
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That's very important information.
Mhm.
Yeah, so each one of us, think about this now, have been here since the beginning.
Mhm.
And whether we were the essence of the cosmos in a non form, maybe sound, maybe frequencies, maybe color tone light, but there was a connection and a call for us to come to Earth. So just I want to put that out there. Let's see, Dana said a few things. I just love you, Dana. Let's see what Dana says. She has also seen a council of 12. Very cool. We are, this is Heidi says, cool. And then Dana says, we are aquatic apes because we've had a fat layer that can insulate us in water. We were waders, evolving in Africa during a long drought. That's a beautiful thought. Well, some of us have been apes. I know when I walked through the gates, the stargates, I came right in as a humanoid galactic person, so I'm going to just say that. I don't remember having a time as an animal on this when I came through after the floods. So let's look at that. Um, so we're looking at the destructive period and the breaking apart of the planet. And think about, and I'm looking, I reached out to a few people. There's a person that wants to help me. We're going to put the planet back together as one planet, the planet of what was the Pangea, and place around at the 15.5 and see how many power spots hit those nodes. Because when it broke apart, the original temples and stonework, and I believe that time and time again, there's been groupings that have come to try to stabilize the planet. And in truth, there's a process going on right now to stabilize the planet and bring in the higher fields. Um, I, just that walk to England and to Europe, 42 different places they showed me to put crystals in. So, how many of you are grid workers? Grid workers? Boom, look at there. I knew there was someone here. Yes.
Yeah, that, to be quite honest, that word there, grid, actually resonates quite well with Crystal. I know. I don't know if you want to speak on that, Crystal.
Yes.
Heidi as well, by the looks of it.
Yeah, big time.
The group mind is electromagnetic. So think about that. Electromagnetics is the outer form of thought. So we have Queenie. Is that Queenie? So you have the vibrational frequencies and you have sound, and then when the sound is heavy enough, it hits. And so you have this wave pattern of, bumping up against each other. And as they do, that little place in between sound and light is electromagnetics. So it's the outer form. And then you have scalar wave, which goes through these differential fields. So what's important for us, I think I'd like to go around circle and see what your takeaway is. What is your takeaway? We'll start with Colleen. What is your takeaway, my dear? And if there's anything you want to share with us, can't hear. You have to unmute. Sorry.
Last time my takeaway was about the significance of 12. And I think that's still with me. And it's been, my thoughts on that have been expanded as a result of our conversation here tonight. I don't know exactly how to verbalize that right now, but it's something about that.
Well, thank you. And I want to throw this in. We have the Pleiades, Lyran, Andromeda, the Sirius, Orion. We have Altera, Arcturus. We can just name a few. I got 8 of them on my hand here, just off the top of my head, you know. Cygnia, the Cross. We have the Great Draco and the Great Bear constellation. So that's 11, 12 right there. And if we think of the consciousness, we have Andromedans who are give us they are the high teachers of spirituality and wisdom, the great mysteries. You know, the Pleiadians were the botanists, they brought in all of the fauna, the ecosystems. They helped to formulate plants and bring in the different forms of life upon the planet, you know, for Mu. And here, they actually helped to terraform along with the fairies, you know, believe it or not, the fairies were a part of working with the Pleiadians, from what I understand. Arcturians, they were very mechanical minded, engineering technologies, nothing like AIs that get out of control because you got to look at your phone to do some advertisement, but they could build the great motherships that you see in the sky. And often they work in infrastructures and stabilization mechanics, mechanical type things. So we think about these things that are in our DNA strand because we receive DNA from most of these places. The Lyran were just mental, like energies, scalar wave. They still are. I mean, if you run into a person who's a Lyran, and these are people who are in the council rooms, you know, so I'm taking it from way out there to bring it in here. And I think in honor of those original 12 different constellations, this is why they kept to the 12. But there's a thing that you can do, which is really kind of interesting, that tells us about ourselves. You can do what is called the squaring of the circle. And so you take the circle and then you can cube it out, square it out, and then you could begin to make the look call those compasses, and you can make the petals, and you'll come out with 12, something like that. So that's another thing. So that's just the way we were structured. So if anybody came to our planet, they would know that we were made from that.
Okay.
Which is an interesting thing. If you go to Drumbalo's book, he takes you into that. He discovered it. And one of the things that he discovered for himself, I had seen it before as well, that you can actually figure out what planet you're on, and you can make the vectors of a pentagram, and they go outside of the circle, and that tells you something else. So there's like you start, and there's concentric circles until it goes past the square. The square, it holds the square. That's why the circle and the square are so important. So you can bring the 12 in from the constellations, and then there's the 13th, Epicius, hidden. What is that about? And that's all. Epicius is um, right near the center, the black hole of the Sheshata is this hidden constellation that they don't talk about. So what's coming from there, you know? I've stood in the council rooms as you have, Heidi, and it's very powerful. Uh, they're changing. I mean, like sometimes there's a large number, sometimes there's not. So I know in the council rooms, it depends on what the idealism or the function or the quality of what it is that you're doing. I've been in the council of the white ray, the green ray of sustainability of the heart, the purple ray, which is transmutation, and the I am, and the golden ray, which is pure consciousness, you know. So these councils are very interesting. And I'm not talking about the bigger high spiritual council, but just the council. Okay, so we'll keep going. Thank you for letting me interject that one, Carlene.
Thank you for expanding on that.
Sometimes you push
Yes.
the button and it just goes. So
You
you can,
know, may I just share one thing?
yes.
You know, I said that I had purchased this
Oh yes.
meditation on manifestation from you, and look at on the front of that,
Yes,
the
that's what I,
sacred geometry.
that's right.
Yes.
The 12. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Flower of life. Yes, you got it. I
Mhm.
snuck that in there, didn't I?
You
One of
did.
the things I could say is when I had the experience of the God force come into my body, you know, through years of purification, and it comes in that form of those spirals.
Mm.
So there's something about that as well. So yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So let's read what's up with Dana. I love you, Dana. I love that you're doing this. You're staying with us. Um, So Heidi referred to the African thing as perhaps Lumeria. I want to tell everybody there was no Lumeria. Lumeria was named after a scientist found lemurs off the coast of Africa and Madagascar. And then he was traveling the world and he found lemurs over there in near Hawaii or something like that. And he goes, "This must be Lumeria," and so it stuck.
Yeah, they call. Okay,
All right, who said that? Heidi.
me.
Uh,
They call it
yeah.
moon.
Yeah, you want to say Mu, or you want to say Pangea, the early, you know, later Pangea. That's it. Then people will go, oh yes, you know, so they can't get you. You know how they're always trying to, you know, like she's just. Um, so Dana says, I was just writing about our human bodies. We have both human ape bodies and extraterrestrial souls of various types. You're helping me to differentiate the varied ETs who have become human. And some people think that humans started out as angels. So we're complex people. That that looks like our grid. Oh, Crystal said that looks like our grid. What you held up there, Carlene.
Oh.
Thank
Mhm.
you. Wonderful. And I
Awesome.
think that's a fact. I mean, when I take people back, thank you, Colleen. That's beautiful. Yes. Take people back with their galactic origins. Many are in different forms. And then when you take them off the planet, they shift into something else, which is very interesting. But you have to imagine that before there was apes, there was humanoids. And so the imprint of that form was already in the cosmos. So just so everybody's on the same page as that one. Okay, so let's go for Heidi. What is your takeaway, mommy?
Well, it's funny. Right before we came on tonight at 7, I was watching everything on Stonehenge. Just ironically. But you know, really, this is very simple. But I really am just waking up to this right now. Is how astray this world has been led in how we were created and how we came to be. And everything I've been watching lately about Göbekli
Oh,
Tepe and the pyramids and Stonehenge, and it's like, and everything is here now. Now I'm fine. Like maybe the codes are waking up for me, and now the dots are connecting. This is just making so much more sense as to how we arrived here and how, you know, extraterrestrials or whoever came to be and mix with the humanoids to, you know, further this race and further their, you know, experiment. So that's a real big takeaway for me, is about how different our history really is.
yeah.
So
So it stayed pure galactic intelligence in the formulation of the energies of Earth because it had to be that tone. And only the reverse ones, and you'll read about it later in the book, only the reverse
Yeah.
ones tamper with genetics. So usually when you see somebody who's extraterrestrial, they're not hybrid. And if they are hybrid, they've had tampering by some grouping that was of reverse consciousness. That's what they say. So I don't know.
Right.
Maybe it could be
Yeah.
different. Yeah. But I
Uh,
also recognize what they want to tell us is not every human that we see has a reversed genetics. Very important for us to understand. And I think that's in our avatars, like Amaji. There's certain genetic lineages that do not have not been influenced by the reverse ones. They don't have the DNA antennae.
mm,
All right, Mr. Ian, who I love every day of the week.
Thank you. Well, my takeaway is I'm just again blown away to be in your presence and studying your book, particularly chapter 11, particularly linking up as well with wonderful people from around the world. I think it's just amazing. It always amazes me. I think we just broke at the right point with the inception of human beings, because there's a lot to take in. Each one of those sentences that you read tonight could be taken on its own and broken down. It's so powerful. But it's I'm just really glad to be here tonight. And studying this. Thank you.
And I hear, are you working with Linda?
Yes, I am. I'm hosting the live chat every week on her show now, and I'm doing a lot of work with Linda behind the scenes. I'm talking to a lot of people.
I'm
Uh,
so grateful.
wow.
yes, so we're
And
meeting a lot of people, and we're bringing a lot of people together.
so what day is that?
It's Wednesday, and it goes out on. Let's see now. That would be Central Time, and it goes out at say 7 o'clock, isn't it? 7:30. So tomorrow evening, if anyone's watching, go to
I'm
YouTube,
so
Earth
grateful. I
Files.
almost felt guilty because I said I had to do it on Lynn Ann, and I decided Tuesday. So this is really important. And
Oh, well, this is a really good day
yeah,
as well for
Linda,
me.
good, good, good. Okay, well, you'll see me on there because I'm going to be watching.
Yes, yes, will do.
It's getting really good. I saw some of the other pieces that you put out. She's been putting out there, and the explosion on Mars and such. So we're really excited about that.
Well, thank you, and of course, Crystal was a guest a few weeks ago as well.
Yeah, I think she had. I wrote to her about my near death experience. So at any time, tell her I'm still available for that if she wants.
Yeah, Linda was impressed with your NDE, so I think that's another thing that we will be coming back to. That is important as well. That's another takeaway I think that we have on all of this, Celestine, is that we don't die. There's entropy, yes, around us, but we ourselves just keep going and reincarnating, coming back, and going on, going forwards.
It's a very good takeaway, and to realize that there's a time when it becomes your last walk. And this is my last walk among the humans on this
Yes.
earth.
Well, I was listening today. They said as humans we are 2 generations and then we're forgotten. But that's just amongst humans. Do you know what I mean? It's like 2 generations and then we're forgotten.
Wow. I
And
don't think.
some people say that there are the 3 deaths on Earth, and that is the first death is when you actually physical body expires. The second is after the
Well,
ceremonial funeral. But the third one is when the last person speaks your name. That's when the earthly sense goes. We keep going as souls around.
yeah, we always say, I speak your name so you may live. The Egyptian
So,
is, I speak your name so you may live. And we often do that. Hmm. It's true. I will keep you in my heart forever. Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, thank you. I'm certainly going to take you in my heart with me. Okay, Miss Lynn Ann, come talk to us. What's your takeaway, Mommy? The Lady of the Heart. I'm ready.
Oh,
Let me buckle up.
hi, everyone. Ah, my heart. I have to say that I'm very grateful to be living on the planet at this time. And I'm grateful for you, Celestine Star, that has enlightened me to galactic worlds that I knew not of. And on my desk, I have crystals, and when I take on a new client, I align. I'm like, are they someone that I can align with? And if they're not, I'm like, eh, 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 go away. There's just like this life and this moment and this time on earth. We have so much work to do and so much appreciation and accolades for our lives and other people's lives. And the body of work of this transmission, chapter 11, and more, reminds me, and my go session reminds me that we are more than just what's here. We are more. We are more. We're so much more. No, we're
Is that
so
what
much,
they say? Amor? Amor?
so much more.
You're amor.
So
You're
much,
my amor.
and that we remember in those moments, and that we extend kindness, that we extend the other viewpoint in strife. Well, let's think about this, and we always give that, and we always embody that, because this life, as my mother would say, is short. And if you're thinking in millions of years and thousands of years or hundreds of your earth years, as you would say,
Yes.
I think that it boils down to those moments that we can, the moment, the moment,
The moment.
and appreciation. Thank you. Thank you. I go to my garden.
Oh, yes. We're
Thank you.
losing her now, the garden.
I go to my flowers. I go to my clients. The moment. What what is the alignment and the 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 inspiration of the client and
Mm,
of what they're trying to do, and that is worth fighting for.
it's a beautiful takeaway, my love. Thank you. Our Lady of Love, thank you so much. Yes.
I
What a
had my go
tasty
session. I
conversation.
came from Siegel Nebula. Just have to
That's right.
I just have to expand here. And Siegel Nebula in the planet is above, in the cosmos is above Ceres, but everything about Siegel Nebula
There you go. It's about love.
is about the heart.
Uh-huh.
Every They knew nothing other than love and love and love.
And that's what you bring to us, sweetie.
And that's what I commit in
Mm.
this life to
Mm-hmm.
bring.
And this is what we're talking about. Everyone has their place in their world. So thank you, honey. We're going to keep moving. We got a few more delicious.
I'll mute.
Okay. Miss Tamala, bring us home, honey. Bring us home.
I'm going to start with a question.
Oh, okay.
Um, vibrational septicals.
Yes.
That a Stargate?
Mm-hmm. That
It
is not
is.
a Stargate.
It is
No.
not. Okay.
No. Think of a. Okay, go ahead and finish your question.
No, that was the question.
That is the question. Okay, that's what I thought. Um, you're sitting in your room. It's vibrating at a certain frequency. If I was to bring an oscillator in and raise the frequency up, a little higher, a little higher, a little higher, you would begin to start seeing another dimension. When you go into your dreams, you're moving through a dimensional field. If you're walking in landscape or you're flying or whatever it may be, but mainly let's just say your room and you're all of a sudden in another dimensional field. Now, it just so happens that you can create these dimensional fields. So let's say that, Earth is being formulated and the conception of Earth is happening. It's in its crystalline form, and you need a place to hang out while this is all coming into solidified formation, right? Maybe it comes into solidified formation, and what happens is you have the technology to create a little bubble, and another one, and another one, and another one, right? And so you say, well, some of these bubbles I'm going to make it so we could live in. I could travel over here. I could go down to another sector of the Sheshata. I could be at Saturn. I could be out of the solar system. I could travel back in. I have to have a place to be, right? So I'm traveling. Okay, but I can also call in Arcturus, and they will make me a bubble that is and it's harmonized, it's humming at one frequency, or it's modulating at a certain a depth, but it draws into it, different dimensional energies, and so it's a consistent. It's a machine. It's something that's magnetic. That's consciously made to resonate at a certain field. Okay, so that would be considered a stabilizing, a vibration, infrastructural stabilization. And whereas a septical would be a kind of a vibrational living. We have Shambhala, the Gobi Desert. You have Halls of Amente. Here in San Francisco, we have the City of Light, where Enid is. Ian is. We have Avebury, Stonehenge, all the way up the coast and down. And we have the snake mounds here in America, you know. So it's something, and so now bring that mechanics. How are you going to handle that mechanics? How are you going to bring it down to earth? You need some kind of form, and the interfacing form between sound and light is the geometrical forms, right? The five solids, which Plato didn't just learn about it. He brought it out of Egypt, right? At Kemet, right? He brought it out of Kemet. So, so you can make a pyramid, you can make a cube, make a circle, and they all do different things. Hatshepsut, she made the big stelas because what she was doing was drawing electromagnetic energy. She'd set it down in an upshoot or a downshoot. She could draw water using pyramidal energy, pyramidal shapes and forms. She could literally draw water. She didn't need an aqueduct. She just had to understand this is a updraft energy mechanism, and she could put a pyramid there and draw water to that area. Okay, so does that answer your question?
Yes, sort of. I'll chew on that.
Well,
So that's my takeaway.
So yeah, so anyway, that's what those are. Yeah, and some, like where you are, just think about it. Let me take you to a place too. A part of your body is made of energy. So your body lives, so there's a part of your spirit that lives in that energy field. Not all of you lives in that body. And
Right.
so the outside of your energy field is your receptacle.
Interesting.
Okay? So
Thank you.
that's a good one. Okay, and your takeaway, darling.
That I'm going to meditate on this.
Okay.
Yeah, this was very helpful. My takeaway is basically this is confirming what I've been learning about the whole energy coming into the vessel. My essence of being in the um, galactics and coming here. So
Mm-hmm.
the part to
Mm-hmm.
help expand my mind.
They continue to be here in that way. I could take you right now to a place where you can, if you know the vibration is high enough, you can actually see the city. I've taken people there, and the city, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's a building there. Yeah, it's there. That's
Mm.
what we're moving into. We're moving into that state where we'll begin to see the cities of light and the places where, and those are going to be open to us. We will not be have to live on Earth forever. We can move from one dimensional field to another. That's what's so exciting. And the Marys, I'll leave this one for you here. Let me drop that little bomb. The Mari temples were interdimensional. So if you were a Mari, a Marianne, you were a priestess of the Mari temples, and that you understood interdimensional existence. I'll leave you at that. Thank you, my love.
Thank you.
Isn't this fun? I just love it. Okay, let's go for Crystal. And thank you for coming.
Hi. Hey.
Hi.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad. Thanks, Ian, for bringing me. You've just like been the perfect. This has just been the perfect conversation. And my takeaway, there's so many things. Like I've just been looking. I've been looking for someone. It's you guys. I needed to hear this conversation.
Yippee!
I was like, I need to find somebody, and I have no idea who it is, but I need some. I have a question, and my question was, what's going on with this reversed ones thing? They're talking to me. Am I supposed to answer them? Are they good? Are they bad? Who am I talking to right now? Because I don't even know what's going on anymore, and it was driving me nuts. So I was just like starting to get scared because I didn't know what to do, and
Right.
you go into this place of I don't know what to do. I'm afraid. And then of course you just pull
And
things
the fear pulls it closer.
that just match it, and it just becomes this and you know that that's not what you are, but that's sort of what we default to in this world now, the way that we've existed in this realm for so long, for our whole lives. So it's just really great to I could see it. I could see the God realm saying doesn't even really exist, but yet I'm in this world living
Yeah.
that's talking to me outside of my window, and he won't leave me alone, and I feel really concerned. But yeah, I just like, it's like it isn't really, it's bigger than that, and it's not all about the reversed ones, because and I felt like that too, where compassion even for the beings that would reverse, like what would do that to them? Why would they do that? What is it like for them? Like it must not be pleasant, it must be awful. So then holding our humanity to that, and just like staying in the light, staying in the truth, and not getting so sucked into it. It's what I just like love that there's people in the world that I can say that to, and they're not like, what are you talking about?
Hmm.
You guys are like, yeah, I get it. I understand. So I just thank you. I appreciate this very much.
Wonderful. So right here and right now, I would love to share with you, if you give me permission to share with you, and we could share with the whole group. We're going to give you what is called the mirroring. And this mirroring techniques allows you to claim all of your psychic energy that is around you. And any energies that are trying to come in, they will not be allowed in unless they have your permission. So let's all just take a breath. And does everybody give me permission to do this work with them?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Uh, Carlene, yes. Put your finger up. Yeah. Okay, one finger. Ian, yes. I'm gonna look on here. Yes, she says yes. Heidi and Lynn Ann, there's a definite yes. All right, so we're gonna imagine a beautiful mirrored ball around us. It's at the edge of your auric field. And you have the choice of facing it outside, the shiny side, where they see themselves. Anybody who wants to find you, when they come to the mirror, they only see themselves. Or you can turn the dull side out. Now, the dull side is I'm invisible. In other words, I'm on pause. You don't need to find me. I need all my energy for me. So let's do both. Let's take a moment and do this shiny side out. Shiny side out. And notice that you can actually take your consciousness to the other side of the mirror and see what it looks like. But inside the mirror, it's all yours. Now your psychic field is closed. They do not have permission to enter. You can give permission to your mom, your dad, the baby, the dog, but it's yours. Now, we're going to do this. The most important thing in psychic people that are trying to connect with you psychically is to understand your voice. Where is your mental state coming from? And thank you, Heidi and Dana, for saying yes. Heidi's leaving. We love you. Okay. So you are in the center, and we want you to take a moment and just say, I love myself. And notice where that thought arises. Notice where the sound of it is. Notice the vibration of it. And notice where it's coming from. Because every time you make a thought, it's your thought. This is where it comes from. It doesn't come from out in outer space and come zooming through your head. It comes from within. Okay? So that is your seed consciousness. There's other types of consciousness, but in other words, to shut down your total consciousness, we want you to feel that for just one moment. Now I'm going to send a thought into each of you, and just notice if it comes in or it doesn't come in. I'm going to do it for us 3 seconds, and then I'll stop, and then you can tell the difference if I was able to penetrate your mirror. Okay. So just hold it in your heart. You don't have to say anything. And just recognize how strong this mirror is. Now we're going to reverse, and we're going to make it dull side out, shiny side in. You're going to notice that your mental state is more contained. There's more energy for yourself because you're not expanding it out. Um, the creation of the dull side, you are now invisible in all the creation. Your mental energy is now not available. Feel how wonderful that is. Now, for you, Crystal, and everybody just hold the space. We're going to hold space for Crystal now because I'm going to do some work with you. So, the question to you, Crystal, is these reverse ones that have come to you, they know you from somewhere. So, where do they know you from?
I think it might be a family thing. Maybe from my mother, or because she had problems that
Let's
were.
don't do maybe. I'm going to ask you again and just so where do they know you from? First thought, first feeling in your heart.
From my mother.
Beautiful. Okay. So we're going to ask you are you on assignment to help your mother? Or is this a personal relationship with them as well?
They want me to explain that it's not all bad and it's not all good, that there is an agreement, it was agreed upon, that they exist because it was allowed.
They were allowed to be present.
They were allowed to exist.
Good. Okay. So understand that the virtue of a reverse one is to harm, control, maim, whatever it takes for them to be in charge.
Right.
So lying and telling you things and manipulating you is a virtue.
Yeah.
So we want you to look at the contract that is with your mother. What is the contract that they have between you and your mother?
Yeah, well, with my mother, there was a contract with her. She died because she was mentally ill and was hearing things. She really had a hard time. It was very dark, and it was very destructive to her.
They harmed her.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at the contract between your mother and these reverse ones. What was the actual contract? What did she agree to let them do to her and why?
I think she just felt sorry for them.
I want you to close your eyes. And there's a piece of paper floating in front of you. And it's the contract between your mom and these reverse ones. What does it read? What's your mother's name?
Lori.
I, Lori. And what's the rest of the contract?
I, Lori, agreed to seal my own fate.
For what purpose? What did it do for her?
I can't see anything.
Okay, so I want you to drop in your heart. And what does it feel like? What would it do for her?
Well, I think that what that means when she said seal my own fate, that was because my mother committed suicide. So that might be what it meant.
Did she lose her soul?
Yeah, I think so.
She gave her soul up. Did she give it up to protect you?
I think so.
Okay. So right here and right now, you are the head of the lineage and you can destroy this contract. Do you choose to do so?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to see this contract and to recognize you are a divine being and you came in on a mission. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is your mother a part of your soul tribe or is it someone you just met and you decided to help?
It just started pouring outside. My mother.
Some angelic presence be called upon.
My mother is now it has moved into an angelic realm. So I know that
angels are here right now. So what I'm asking you is, were you on a mission to
I'm
help?
on a mission.
Okay,
I think my mission is to hold light here. It's
beautiful, to bring light. But so is this mission? What I'm getting to is your mother part of your soul tribe, or did you know her before this lifetime?
She was more like a daughter.
Okay, so it's soul tribe, going
Yeah.
from lifetime to lifetime together.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have two choices. One is lifetime to lifetime together. Do you choose to continue be soul tribe, or and do you want to release your mother and to release this contract with these beings?
Yes.
That's it. So where in your body are you holding the information?
Um, I have a reaction kind of in my upper legs.
Mm-hmm. Take a stand for your life, yeah? So what we could do is, you are in your bubble now. How does it feel to be in that field, your own magnetic?
I want to say I feel better, but I'm still like just maybe a little bit kind of freaked out a little. It's
You freaked out a little? Uh-huh.
a little weird over here, but that's okay.
Yeah. So let's call on the high spiritual council, and we're going to ask that a fiery light come upon you, the flame all around you. You are a divinity, so we're asking that your flame appear around you. What color flame appears?
Blue.
You are of the council of the blue light. And what does that mean? What is the blue light?
The elder?
Very good. The elder and wise. So does that mean you're connected to the all-knowing?
Yeah.
So I want you to take that power within you and recognize the divinity that you are. I want you to move into your lower legs and loosen up that energy field and recognize that you have the power to release this contract. So do you choose to remain as a soul tribe with your mother?
If it as a benefit,
I didn't ask that question. If you are connected to the knowing, you're going to know whether that is to the benefit. So do you choose to release yourself into the unified field from your mother, or do you want to stay soul tribe?
I want to release myself.
Beautiful. So putting hands up, and we can just feel the blue flame all around you. It comes out of your hands, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So taking the energy of the blue light and placing it on your knees, and you can repeat after me. By the power of my divine beingness,
By the power of my divine being,
I call in my God consciousness.
I call in my God consciousness.
And go ahead and say it 3 times.
I call in my God consciousness. I call in my God consciousness.
And by the will of my heart,
By the will of my heart,
through love and truth,
through love and truth,
I hereby release this contract
I hereby release this contract
from my family,
from my family,
from myself,
from myself,
past, present, and future,
past, present, and future,
for all time.
all time.
Now, what is the contract? What is it about? I release
I,
these,
re-
the reverse one's ability to what?
I release the reverse one's ability to use me to speak for them.
What else?
I release the reverse one's persistence in using the light. It's pouring again right now. And using the light to manipulate and harm
Myself
myself
or anyone around.
or anyone around.
By the power of the blue light that I am,
By the power of the blue light that I am,
I destroy this contract for all time
I destroy this contract for all time
and any relationship I may have with them.
and any relationship I may have with them.
Yes, is complete.
Thank you.
Now, taking that blue light, you can put in your heart and go into your DNA and break the chains, break any bonds, any agreements. Now, going down your female lineage, 2,000 years or more, and down the male lineage,
Hmm.
breaking the bonds. Now, seeing them, you can look and see their eyes. I can see their eyes, right? You see what they look like, little tiny little thing, little heads, eyes, right? What do you see?
Well, I've seen shadow people. That's right.
Yeah, I can see past. So I'm gonna move their shadow aside, and I want you to see them as they truly are. And who are they?
I don't want to say.
Say it out loud so it could be over.
They look like little gray guys.
Thank you. And so they are little gray guys. So, by the power of the blue flame, what do we need to do with them?
I understand now. I thought that they were here to help us.
But what are they really here for?
Well, I guess if what's happening is happening, then it must not be for the highest good, for us at least.
So I'd like you to tell them that directly, and they can't penetrate the mirror, so they can only hear you. They cannot see you. So go ahead and tell them what you want to tell them. That we are done, and so are you. That's right. I'm standing right there with you.
Now, my washing machine is pouring water out of it.
It's perfect. By the power of the blue light, bring your divine self in. By the power of the blue light,
By the power of the blue light.
what do you want to say to them, those little rascals?
I just want to be at peace and unification.
Yeah, you have no longer have permission to disturb me.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell them.
I just want to be serving the highest good and at peace with my family lines and move forward without interference. And
Give them a direct understanding. You will no longer what?
you will no longer interfere with my life in a negative way.
Or the life of what? Anyone I know?
Or the life of my son or anyone I know.
So I want you to now send the flame out of your hands and let it just radiate and fill up the room. Notice the water is blue and you're blue. And it just pushes past the building and then it starts to push them out of the way. Do you feel that?
I'm working up to it. I can feel it. Yeah.
And so, what is their reaction to the blue light?
They're just stepping back.
They better, right? So, if you're a God, angelic being, what do we need to do with these little rascals? Just to shut them down. There's they're kind of loose and running around. So, what should we do with them?
I think that if you can,
Pardon?
well, unifying everything with the highest good is always.
So, okay, so maybe they need to be shuffled off to the unified field complex and have someone take them there.
Mhm.
Okay, let's round them up. You see them rounded up in a little light. And tell us when they've entered the little field of the unified field, and they will trouble you no more.
Yeah, it's done.
Thank you.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting this tonight.
So, just want to give you the high honors, Divine One. Do you need to turn your washing machine off?
Oh no, it wasn't even on. get it on its own.
Interesting. All right. So thank you for holding space. Now we're going to bring some golden light down from the North Star into your body just to stabilize. Here's the stabilizing factor. Golden light is always balancing and harmonizing. And feeling that space within you, letting the fear drop down below your shoulders and your chest, running out your hands. You are the divine one. Yes? Are you willing and committed to being a divine one on this planet?
Yes.
Are you willing to let others see you as divine on this planet? And so, as the energy of the golden light drops down through your heart, it reatones your DNA. You're here for other purposes, not to run around. And yes, Mama had her thing going on, but that was to let you be able to see it in the world. But always, as you stood in the fires of time, you turned to a diamond because you didn't melt and turn to ash like your mother, but rather you were forged as a diamond. So we as the witness, we of the high spiritual council do witness you as a divine being, and we welcome you into the Galactic Earth Council. We thank you for your presence and letting that golden light now drop down to your power and just call forth your soul and call forth your mother's soul and give her the opportunity to reclaim her soul. And calling in all your power from where you left it in the universe. And we can all do that. Call our power in and then drop down into our creative center and down again into the first chakra and down through the legs. Feel that golden light. And this is right before you is a new path. So, what's different about this path that you're looking at as opposed to where you came from?
Well, right now I feel like I don't have to run around catering to everything that wants to talk to me. And like, I don't feel like I'm sort of like a highway for these beings to talk to and talk through.
And so that is your anchor, honey. That's your center fold, right? That you're in the center of who you truly are. As long as you're in the true self, you're not your 5-year-old, you're not the one who became the adult and to take care of your mother, then you're there. Okay? All right, filling up your auric field, I'm going to seal you in a rainbow cocoon for 90 days as you transmute into your new self. Feeling that golden light, now we'll take a moment of silence and give thanks. Taking a breath. It's a new breath of a new life. Happy birthday. No one will ever speak to you the same because you have a whole new life. How fabulous. And so this blessing is for all of us. And I want to thank you all for your patience and love and letting this go through. And so I'll put our hands up to Crystal and just praise her for having the question, the courage, and just the instinct to come tonight and to ask for help. May 10,000 suns rain upon your life, honey, blessing your life. It's over. And we just love you so much. Blessed be. Thank you. And so I think Dana popped in and out. She was in and out, and just going to give her lots of love. She came back in, but I didn't see where she went, so just give her love. And thank you all. And let's put our hands up and just praise and prayer. And we are all the divine ones, right? And we can send that divine light. And so thank you. Namaste. Blessed be.
Namaste.
Love you too. All right. Ian, you had something you want to
Yeah,
share?
I was going to say thank you Celestine, so much. I spoke with Donna this evening, and I don't know what time it was. She's in Mexico at the moment, but she sends her regards and everything, and I think she'll be joining us next week when she's back in LA.
Oh, fantastic. Good. She was the one that really, she said, Ian's on with Linda. I'm like, what? You know?
Yeah, well, I just wish I could have been there with you guys in July when you had those fantastic experiences then, but
We
you
did
know,
pretty good. Yeah, she got a little taste there. Yeah.
yeah.
So good. And then let's see, we have Dana. And Dana, do you want to put something in the chat, or do you just want to be with us? What would you like to do, love? She jumps off. She's unstable. Okay, well, the love of the life of the life of the love. And so I'll be on. I'll just sit here for a little bit. I think we're having so much fun. That's when you don't want to get off, right? So wonderful. Where are you from, Crystal? Where are you at?
I'm living on Vancouver Island in Parksville right now.
Wonderful. That's a powerful area. Woo, yes, you are bringing light in there. That's good. How did you and Ian connect?
Through the meetup group in Vancouver, they have a UFO meetup group, and it's they do Saturday talks, and so that's just a group of us, and Ian is part of that group. He usually comes
Fantastic.
just from England.
Yeah, he's over in England. We're over in Fairfax, California. Lynn Ann's not too far from me. And where are you, Carlene? LA? Well, we couldn't hear you because you're muted. Can't hear. There you go. Where are you from?
I'm in LA.
And that's what I thought you said. Beautiful. Yeah. And Miss Tamala, you're down in San Jose, was it? I think. What was it?
Oakland.
Oakland. She's just around. Oh, you just across the bay. So
All happening down there where you are, Celestine.
it's happening over here. We had a mothership that came by for the first time in 5 years. And it was so low in the sky. When I first saw it, I thought it was clouds. It was cloaked, of course, and it was traveling quite swiftly. And had I not been I was with somebody who is an empath, and she noticed that there was something wrong with that cloud. And then Phoenix, one of my other partner sisters, she said, "Here's a picture of a mothership. It's in Marin." So she got it. It was like an affirmation of this huge. It took up the whole sky. It was absolutely fabulous. So yeah, it's happening. What's happening where you are, Ian? What's going on?
Oh, you know, it's actually quite. We're all in lockdown, etc. here, but we're managing. We're coping. We're doing okay. Things are good. You know, I've got my own space here where I can talk to you guys, and I don't mind about the time difference at the moment.
Yes.
It suits me actually because there's nothing else going on. No telephones to disturb me. No one else around. It's dark outside, but yeah, it's good.
That's good to hear. I'm so happy. I had a big move, and so I'm in a whole different place, and I feel good about it. It's good.
Yeah, you look well settled in there now, so that's good. I know things were happening for you, but I'm glad you're settled and you're in there and smiling. So good.
I'm smiling. I'm out of the danger zone, and even though it was beautiful in the forest, it was still quite, so boxes. We've got lots of boxes, but we're still hanging in there. Yeah, it's good. So I'm just going to take a breath. I think it's good to wave fairly well. I'll see you on Wednesday, Ian.
Yes.
It's going to be grand. And Crystal, welcome, welcome. Miss Lynn Ann, thank you so much, Miss Heartspace. Tamala, beautiful, beautiful sharing with you and Carlene and Dana. Thank you. Thank you all. And we'll see you. When do we see the next one, Lynn? When's our next?
Oh gosh. Okay. Oh, where is it? 3 weeks from tonight.
3 weeks from tonight. Let's see.
Tuesday. 3 weeks from tonight.
Okay, let me look at my schedule here.
Here's my calendar. I have to have a
I
calendar.
have it.
Everything cannot
It's
be
the
digital.
23rd.
Good. Yes, the 23rd.
The 23rd. Fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Celestine. Thank you.
Yes, beautiful.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And so we'll be doing the replay, and we'll take your healing unless you want to have that as a part of the Miss.
I stopped the recording
Thank you.
right after
Love my Lynn.
you went into to the healing to make it private,
Perfect.
and did not record because it's private, and that's your world, Crystal, and it's your alignment and your, what do you call it? Anyway, I stopped it because nobody needs to
know how to
know.
do it.
You don't need to tell anybody. It's your healing.
So for everyone, the mirror thing is used. It's like 101 psychic defense. And you'll notice that it'll last for probably half a day or so. And then, you'll get those disturbances of people trying to get in touch with you. And you can always put it back up again. So that's the gift for tonight. And we'll be putting out the replay so you get a replay of it. Thank you, Lena. And I knew that you knew what to do. I love you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Good night.